Hey everyone, welcome to Family Magic UK. Today's episode is day 3 of our Halloween Disney trip. I know it's taken me ages to get these videos done, but I've figured out now why actually vlogging would have been much better, because the way that I've ended up having to do it is I record these videos and then I have to edit in all the videos that I filmed when I was on the trip. Whereas I've realised now, if I'd have just vlogged it and just, been brave enough and done it, it would have been easier because I wouldn't have had to edit as much. But live and learn, never mind. I'll definitely be doing it when we go in 9 days for our Christmas trip. I can't believe it. Speaking of Christmas, so yes, my tree is up. I like putting my Christmas decorations up early because it takes me so long to put them up. It's such an effort, so the earlier the better. But it means that's how long it's been taking me to get through these videos because it's now Christmas time. Okay, so day 3. So we ended up not being able to get into the park this day. One main reason we think it was because on that day, which was the 19th of October, it was a Wednesday, the Disneyland Paris 30th anniversary Monopoly game was released to annual pass holders only. So they could get to the park during magic hours, queue up outside the bookshop and be first to get this game. Before going on the trip, it had been touch and go whether or not we were going to get in, because some days we checked and it was available to reserve, and then other days we'd check and it would be fully booked. So it was a case of, well, we'll just have to wait and see when we're there. But unfortunately, Tuesday evening, it was still fully booked. So we decided that instead we would just explore. With being annual pass holders, we have that little bit of luxury where we know we're going to get into the park again. We still had Thursday and Friday, and we knew we were coming back in November, and we've booked another trip in March. So we thought, let's explore, let's just have a nice chill day. And we thought, why not hit all the hotels? We've only stayed in 2 of the on-site hotels, Cheyenne and Newport Bay. And we've booked Santa Fe for our November trip, and we've booked Sequoia Lodge for our March trip. So we thought, well, let's explore the other hotels that we've not been to, and we'd go back to the 2 that we have and just maybe get something to eat, maybe meet a character. Again, we just took our time getting up in the morning. We didn't rush because there was no point. Yeah, we got on the bus. It was a bit quiet, which obviously the time that we'd, left, I think we left at about 10, it was just after 10, I think we left. Yeah, so the first hotel we headed to was the Marvel Hotel, because we're all big Marvel fans, and I knew Finlay especially would really like it. And because we weren't planning on eating there, I thought, let's get that first, because the other hotels we could possibly eat, or we could go back to Disney Village and get something to eat there. So we just had a really good look around and looked at all the artwork. And of course, Finlay was like pointing at everything, and there was all like the memorabilia that was in like display cases. And we had fun with the photo op. There's like this big like comic book stand that's got a bit in the middle that's see-through, so you can take your photo, which is great for our Instagram. Yeah, we had like a little sneaky in one of the restaurants, and we found where they do the photos with characters, but you have to prove that you're staying in the hotel in order to and I think you have to make a reservation as well. So yeah, that was a shame. But, you know, maybe if we win the lottery, we might be able to afford to stay there and get like the full experience. The boys loved it, got some fab photos of them. Even Jacob, you know, he was just looking at everything. Yeah, it was just fab looking at all that artwork. And it was nice and quiet as well, obviously, because, you know, can't imagine too many people can afford to stay in that hotel. Yeah, it's really pricey. Even with annual pass discount, it's just unaffordable. But no, we had a great time, and we had a little lookie in the shop as well. Luckily, Finlay didn't make too much of a fuss. So yeah, we just took like loads of photos and just like took all in, and it was such a nice day. It was so hot. So yeah, so we then headed over to Sequoia Lodge because we can't wait to stay there in March. And we know people who have stayed there before, and I couldn't wait to see it because I've not seen anything inside, and it's quite hidden as well with all the trees. Really did remind us of Center Parcs, the way that it looked, and like all the trees and like the lake from that's outside the hotel, that turns into a stream that runs along the side of it, and it goes all the way to like Santa Fe and Cheyenne as well. And yeah, it was just lovely. It was so warm and cozy. I mean, when we walked in to the through the door, first thing we saw was this wooden bear statue. They had some great artwork as well. And yeah, and it just felt really cozy. And then because of how hot it was, we headed straight outside to get a look at the terrace bit. And they had these like wooden loungers, because I think that was the thing that was missing at Newport Bay. You know, Newport Bay's got this great view from the front, but they don't have like a terrace or anything there. So yeah, I mean, the kind of day that we had, you could have easily sat out there, you know, with a drink and just taking it all in. It was nice. Like we found like the kids' corner and some games, like a foosball table and a pool table in that. And then we found the shop, and oh my god, the window display in the shop was fab. It had like Goofy and Donald Duck's nephews and Mickey and that, and it looked like they were getting ready for a camping trip. So yeah, I can't wait to stay in that Sequoia Lodge. It looked so nice. And you know, the theming was just spot on. It really was. It did feel like we were in a wilderness lodge. It was great. I just wanted a little lookie in the shop before we moved on to the next hotel, just in case they had something, you know, that was unique, because I'd already gotten the pin from the Marvel Hotel when we went in March, and I know they are changing the pins for the hotels because of the refurbishments and the renovations that they're doing. So I wanted to see if they had done a new one for Sequoia, but they hadn't. But I still found some great pins. But yeah, and while I was looking at the pins, Ben just happened to be on his phone checking his messages, and he got an email alert from Disney. We're making our way to the park because we've just had an email to say that we can get in. Yeah, we managed to get into the park. So the night before, Ben had put us on a waiting list to get in if people had cancelled. So obviously that's what happened. So glad he checked his phone, because otherwise, you know, we wouldn't have known. And yeah, we got an email to say that we could get in. So I nearly dumped the pins. But Ben was like, you know, we've still got time. It's, you know, it's just lunchtime. So yeah, I bought the pins that I had in my hand, and we made our way to the parks. Oh, I was so glad that we could get in, even though we were having a good time. And, you know, I was quite happy to just have an easy day, and, you know, but I think it was because, like, it was such a good day for weather. It was so warm. And I just felt that it was being wasted, you know, being inside hotels, you know, and not being in the park. So I was over the moon when he got that email. And when we made our way to get, because we went to Disneyland Park first, and just outside the two park entrances, there was big red signs saying like the park was full. So only people with annual pass reservations, hotel reservation, or had pre-booked their tickets online and had selected that date in advance were getting in the park. So relieved that we got in, considering it was full. It was lunchtime, so we needed to get something to eat. So we just grabbed a ham and cheese toastie from the deli on Main Street because, oh, it's cheap and cheerful and it's so fine. And we'd already made a packed lunch for the boys, so they had that. And we just sat in the arcade bit because it was getting hot. I mean, it was midday. And the thing was, we didn't have the proper outfits for the weather that we were having. So, you know, we were trying to keep as cool as we could. And yeah, and once we'd eaten, we'd headed straight over to Discoveryland because we hadn't been on Star Tours yet. And it's one of our favourite rides. And even like Jacob really likes it. I think because of all like the moving around and the effects, and it doesn't bother him wearing the 3D glasses because he wears them for Ratatouille as well. Even though the boys, I mean, Finley's seen bits of the Star Wars films and he knows of Star Wars. Jacob's not really paid any attention to it. Well, it's not something he's chosen to watch, but he really enjoys that ride. And it's one of those rides that we will try and do a lot because it's different every time you go on. There's like so many different versions that the likelihood is you won't get the same experience twice. And I was the rebel. I mean, if you've been on the ride, you'll know what I mean. Because right at the beginning, when you're getting seated, like obviously the cast members, checking all the belts. But what you don't know is that there's a camera that's taking all your photos as well while you're sitting there. And then when it starts, like C-3PO, you know, is speaking to you and he'll get a message from a character. Now it could be Yoda, it could be Finn, or it could be Princess Leia, who we got. And they're telling you that the mission is to save this rebel from the Empire. And they'll randomly pick somebody from the audience. And it was me. So far, of all the times we've been on that ride, I've been a rebel, Jacob's been a rebel, and Finn's been a rebel. And I think my sister has as well. But Ben has yet to be a rebel spy. Maybe the next time we go, it might be his turn. But yeah, it was so good. And I'd never seen Princess Leia as well. So that was nice. You know, it was her that had put, you know, she was the one that came on and was like, oh, we need to protect this rebel spy. And yeah, so it was, oh, that was good. And of course, Finley was like so excited. Mummy, it's you, it's you. We came out of that and then we went into Philomagic. And now I know, again, I would have wanted to save it for a day where it was, you know, raining. But it was really hot and we thought, oh, let's see if we can get in and get some aircon. We'd been highly recommended to do the show as well. And I don't really know why we didn't do it in March. Just think it was one of those things, we kept meaning to do it, but we just kept forgetting to go. Oh, well, we weren't meant to get in the park today, so let's do it. I think because we saw Mickey and the Magician the day before, and that was so good, it was a bit underwhelming to watch then the Philomagic. I think if we'd done that first, we would have liked it, you know, as much as, you know, the people who told us to see it like it. But it was still impressive. I mean, the Coco bit was probably my favourite and it was the best effects. And if you've not been in it, yeah, I mean, it wasn't on for long. I think it's only on for 15 minutes, maybe 20. We didn't have to really queue to get in. Obviously, because of how good the day was in terms of weather, there wasn't many people that were wanting to go in and watch it because it was dry, it was warm, and it was sunny. So it's one of those that I could imagine will probably be busy when it's a horrible day because you're inside. But if you're not bothered about it being a good day, then, you know, if you're in that area and, you know, the queues are maybe a bit too long to get on Star Tours or Buzz Blasters, then yeah, go in it. It's not on long. The kids will love it. It's 4D, so there's effects and everything, as well as, you know, 3D images. And yeah, and it's great. And it goes through all the classics, you know. The boys enjoyed it. So yeah, so we've ticked that off the list of things that we've finally done in Disney. When we came out of watching Magique, we just headed straight over to Adventureland. Went on Pirates again, obviously. And this time, when we came out of Pirates, we had a really good, you know, explore around the Skull Rock and the pirate ship and the treehouse. Because when we were in March, the treehouse was closed. We couldn't get anywhere near that. The play park was closed as well. I think they were just getting it ready for the anniversary. And again, because it was so nice weather, that was the perfect area to be in because it was so hot. Yeah, and it was so much fun. And we let Finn lead the way and we followed him and we walked along the bridge that connects the Skull Rock bit to the treehouse bit. And we saw Carl and Russell in the lake. And then we headed into Frontierland because, again, we've never done the Mrs. Molly Brown's boat, the big white boat that goes round the lake that Thunder Mountain is on. I think I had been on it when I'd been years ago, when I was like 6, when my grandma took me. But us as a family have not done it. It was closed when we went in March. And then when we'd been in November 3 years ago, it was too cold to go on it because it was such a nice day. You're going to be bored of me saying that, but honestly, it really was. That day was definitely the hottest day, and I think it did get to 23 degrees. We got a fab spot on the boat. Because of Jacob's Priority Pass, we were part of the group of guests that got to go on first. So we went right up to the top and right to the front, and I got some fab videos and photos of Thunder Mountain and, you know, Frontierland as a whole. And yeah, again, because we'd not done that, we spotted things that you don't see when you're on Thunder Mountain because obviously the ride's too fast. But there was lots of little quirky things that had been placed on the mountain that the ride is on, and then around the side of the lake, which we'd never seen before. So that was fun. And it's nice and slow, so you can really take it in and enjoy it. And then it just does a full circle. And then you get round to Phantom Manor. And again, I managed to get a really good video and photo of Thunder Mountain and then the very top of the castle. It was just, yeah, fab. No, if you were a proper photographer or had a proper camera, you would get some fantastic photos on that boat. We just go round and round and taking loads of photos. Only thing is, you need to be careful that you don't drop your equipment into the lake, because there was somebody that dropped their water And there was a few people that like had put their coats or jumpers over like the barrier, like the gate. But yeah, so that was great. And the boys really liked it. They just, you know, leaned over and was just looking at everything, and it was good. So again, tick that off the list. I had to get a t-shirt because it had just gotten too warm. And I ended up treating myself to a fab 30th anniversary t-shirt, but it wasn't one that said 30th anniversary. It just had the classic Euro Disney logo. It's also very similar to the old VHS logo. And if you were born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s and had videos, you will know what I mean. It was the classic Sorcerer Mickey. So yeah, and I felt so much more comfortable, and I just ended up tying my jumper around my waist. So after I bought my t-shirt, we decided to head into the other park, to Walt Disney Studios, because I think it was like about 4 o'clock at this point. So there was only a couple more hours for that park before it closed. Wanted to go on, you know, a couple of other rides like Ratatouille again, and, you know, go into Avengers Campus again. So we headed in there and went straight over to the Toy Story bit, because we hadn't been on like the Slinky ride yet. So we did that, and we also did the parachutes, because again, we'd not done that. And it's one of those rides that does have a big queue all the time. So we did that, and Finlay absolutely loved it. He wasn't scared at all. I thought, because like it goes up and down, I thought, oh, I wonder if we could get him to go on Tower of Terror. Is that bad of me? Is that my bad mum for thinking that? But funny enough, because he could see the park and he saw the Tower of Terror when we were on that parachute ride, he did bring it up when we came off. And I sort of just, you know, I thought, right, I'm going to go with this. And I was like, yeah, the Tower of Terror is like the parachutes. It's like the Toy Story. Oh, can we go on that then? And it was like, yes. And Ben was a bit like, oh no, I don't think we should. And I was like, oh, come on, you know, it's an experience, you know, it won't scar him. We managed to coax him into going. And we didn't have to queue at the start. Like, we did all the entrance bit really quickly, and we saw the clip, you know, with the old Twilight Zone bit. But see, when we got up to where you get into the elevators, oh my God, honestly, I don't know what was going on. It took forever. It took so long. I think we were in that bit for nearly half an hour, and it was just not moving. So I don't know if they were having issues or what, because nobody came and told us, but we were just waiting ages. But yeah, we finally got on it, and he was fine, and we got to sit at the front as well. So he was sat next to me, and, you know, I showed him where, because there's like a handle on the side, and I said, right, you hold on to that. And he was like, Mummy, and obviously he started to get nervous. Ben was giving me evils, like, I can't believe we're doing this. But I was like, no, I'll hold on to you. So I ended up holding on to his like bar bit with him, and I had my arm around him. And yeah, well, the photo says it all, really. Yeah, he did not like the ride, although I think he did a little bit, but ultimately, yeah, it was a bit much. And he was screaming. But when we came off, like, you know, he was very like, Mummy, I did not like that ride. And, you know, he had stopped crying, so, you know, he wasn't like hysterical. and he wasn't traumatized, but it was it was like, oh, but there was like loads of kids his age on that ride, and I kept telling him, Finn, there's other kids that have done it. And there was like a dad that came off with his 2 girls, and he just found it funny. So I wasn't the only parent that did it. So yeah, I don't think Finlay will rush to go back on that ride anytime soon. On Finlay's list, that was ticked off, is done that ride. So to cheer him up a bit, we went back into the Avengers campus, and I got this great video of Ant-Man being followed by the new Captain America, previously known as the Falcon, and that was really fun. And I managed to get it all, so like he'd followed it. He obviously like was coming away from the photo bit, and they were doing like a change, so it was now Captain America's turn to do the photos. And yeah, the way that they'd done it, he just managed to get behind Ant-Man without him seeing him. And we got all the way to where the entrance of the web ride is, and Ant-Man finally clocked on that something was going on, and he turned around, and I got this little moment on camera of them interacting, and that was good. And that's just a little example, like a tiny example of what you'll see in that area. It's really, really good. So yeah, we just hung out in there for a bit, and it was getting a bit late and we were hungry. So we decided to head over to Disney Village and get the boys some chicken nuggets or chicken strips or chips. Me and Ben fancied a drink. So we went to that sports bar. It's reasonably priced. The staff are fun, and it's great for people watching as well, because there's so much going on. Like, their food is good. Like, the chicken strips that the boys got were so fine, and their chips as well. So yeah, we just sat and like we had a little drink, and the boys had their dinner, because we decided we would try out the food at the hotel when we got back. So we thought, right, because they do pizzas and burgers, so rather than taking a Mickey pizza, which you can get at the sports bar, all the way back to hotel, I says, no, we'll just get a pizza at the hotel. So yeah, and we just had a little looky in the shops. Finlay picked some Lego, because I had said to him before we went on the trip that he was allowed to have 1 Lego from the Lego shop. And as an annual pass holder, I got 10% off. So yeah, win-win. Headed back to our hotel after that. I mean, I think it was like 7 at this point. 7 o'clock. But we'd had such a good day. And got a nice surprise being able to get into the parks when we didn't think we were going to get. And we chilled out in the hotel, did some video calls, to family, told them about our trip so far, chilled, because we only had 1 more full day to go. Go on Tower of Terror tomorrow. Why?
That was scary.
It was scary? No, it was good. It was fun. Will we go on it tomorrow?
No.
But yeah, so that was day 3. It was a great day, great weather. I know I've said it loads, but it really was. And it really does make a difference when it's not raining. And it makes an even more difference when it's warmer as well. So thanks again for watching. If you want to see more, because there's 2 more days of our Halloween trip, then subscribe and click that bell button to get a notification of when our next video is up. And please like and follow and have a magical day.